This ceramic sculpture by Margaret Berry honours a young girl's determination. Mary Jones was born in Llanfihangel Y Pennant, a small hamlet in mid-West Wales in 1784. She lived until she was 80 years of age, but it was her determination and experience as an adolescent that made her a source of much inspiration. Barefoot, she walked 26 miles from her home to Bala to buy a Welsh Language Bible. She was a catalyst for the formation of the Bible Society. The teenage Mary is reading a Welsh Language Bible open at Genesis 1:1. Her costume is textured to represent a knitted top, a rugged, loosely woven skirt, and a tidily stitched apron. Her skirt and apron flow with a youthful step. The dove of peace has taken flight, scattered from her energetic path. Her skin is white to represent the purity of her intentions and her youth. Her feet are bare. Her arms and legs are abstracted to scrolls upon which all of the Welsh Language Bible chapters are inscribed. The daffodils represent her native country of Wales. They are the national flower of Wales. A handkerchief sits loosely in her apron pocket and the apron ribbon flows behind. The circular base is inscribed with Llanfihangel Y Pennant about its perimeter and a Bala at its core. This represents her return route of 52 miles. The name of the sculpture is suspended from the sculpture's canopy, Mary Jones and her Bible. The lettering was derived from considering the Book of Kells, and each letter is supported by a cross. This suspended ceramic sculpture was first made in 2007 for the National Eisteddfods Maes D. It is made of ceramic using a stoneware clay. It took approximately 350 man-hours to construct. The remainder of this video gives a little insight into its construction and the nature of Margaret's work. The dove of peace casts a shadow on the window's blind. The head was constructed from solid clay before being hollowed. The ears and textures were added before the hair. Genesis, Pennod 1. In y dechreuad y creoedd Duw y nefoedd ar ddaear oedd afluniaeth a gwag a ddiwylliwch. The hands and feet were sculpted, taken apart, hollowed and reassembled. They are drying for their first firing. The scrolls, the sculpture's arms and legs, were sculpted into the scroll shapes, and the chapters of the Welsh Language Bible were then inscribed into the surface. The lettering on the base and those suspended from the sculpture's canopy were designed in response to the calligraphy in the Book of Kells and were likely adapted from the Lucida blackletter font. More than a dozen daffodils were made. It is interesting to note that looking down onto a daffodil, the leaves curl about the stalk in a clockwise direction. Mary's apron has been given a tidily sewn hem and a Celtic cross and Celtic cord ribbon style belt. Her woolen knit blouse has a light cord gathered through the neckline. The dove of peace is shown resting on a soft cushion halfway through the making process. A circle of 271 geometrically shaped tiles was used to represent her circular or returned route. The colour represents the local slate. The sculpture is sketched into position to assess height. It took about 3 man-days to thread and suspend it. Poetry, myths, legends and nature are the core stimuli for Margaret Berry's work. Here are examples of a horse head, a dormouse, hares of varying sizes and colour, and some crabs. Staying on the aquatic theme, the fish are chasing a caddisfly, the ancient ancestor of today's butterfly, a water serpent. A creature shelters under a shell. A love letter is being written with a quill. And a triptych based on the ancient love poem Y Ferch, and lastly, a large unicorn. Dylan Thomas was sculpted from a short poem or an englyn. The next two busts were made considering the senses of a butterfly drifting in a breeze. This bust's hair is strung into beaded plaits. And lastly, a garlanded sleeping flower. This series of photographs shows a bust being sculpted from solid clay before being hollowed, positioned, reworked, re-hollowed. The ears and hair are fitted last. Butterfly references rebirth. A Walk on the Wild Side is a kinetic sculpture. Mother Nature releases a butterfly from its cocoon. And Chrysalis is a comment on the emancipation of women. Dreig, or dragon, has a 3-metre wingspan. The background shows dimension. The wings are still being suspended. Margaret rarely makes pots or platters, but they are typically textured. If you would like to know more about Margaret's work, you are welcome to contact her by email. The address is info@margaretberry.com, and she has two websites, margaretberry.com and suspendedceramics.com. Margaret Berry sculpts in clay. She specialises in suspended ceramic sculptures, but also makes ceramics for the garden, tabletop, walls, ceilings and floors. She lives in a small town in West Wales between Bala and Llanfihangel Y Pennant.